Jeff Keighley has blood on his hands after promoting this game the way he has promoted it. Ultimately, that is one of the worst FPS experiences I've ever had. I played it yesterday with a few of my friends, and I'm just so disappointed. I made a video on my channel defending this game, saying, let's give it a chance. It's going to be free. What's the worst case scenario? It's been made by the Apex devs. They have a really good track record. Let's see what happens. And ultimately, I'm just so let down by what that game was. I do believe this game, like the title of this video says, can be saved. I do think there's hope for this game. I think it's a cake that has all the right ingredients, but just way too much or way too little of those ingredients. And I'm going to discuss in this video how it can be saved and if it will be saved. Diving in with the most important point, does the studio even have the money in the bank to keep this game going? Because that first day launch, I don't know how much money they made. They definitely haven't made a profit so far. How many people have bought skins? Because how many people are buying the battle pass that's going to come out? Very few people, I can imagine. So what's going to be their revenue? What's going to be their income? Potentially nothing for months. They're going to be in a loss for months. Can they afford to do that while they fix this game and turn it around like No Man's Sky? They're an independent game studio, very small. This is their first game published. I reckon this game is closed in 2-3 weeks to a month maybe. I reckon the servers are down and I reckon the game's gone, because that's how bad the start of this game has been. I mean, the reviews on Steam are horrendous. I want to say on the reviews, in a defensive manner of this game, that game had been out for a half an hour and it had already 1,000 negative reviews. I think within an hour it had multiple thousand negative reviews. You could not have reviewed this game in 30-40 minutes of playing. You can't review any game with 30-40 minutes of playing. I feel like that was just people going on here to just hate on this game and not give it any sort of chance. Now, was this game a pile of shit? In its current state, yes, in my opinion, it was a pile of shit. But did it deserve that level of hate? No, I think that's just unnecessary. I think that's just coming from a group of people who couldn't care less about this game being successful and just live in a really hate-filled part of the online world and just wanted to see this game fall, because I think that's more enjoyable and it gives them something to talk about. So that's, I read that a bit of rant there, but that was important to mention. Diving in with the actual meat of this video, how do we save HighGuard? What do we do to save it? Because this game had all the right ideas and it was just executed so poorly. I genuinely believe that if someone was to make a similar game like this, because what this game is essentially a MOBA, and for people who don't know, a League of Legends or a Dota or a Smite, but turned into a first-person shooter. And I think the idea is brilliant. And I think there are so many concepts in this game that could work. And we're going to explain now how, if they were changed, it might work. So starting off, 3v3 didn't work. It was too small. What happened as well was, if there was one good player on your team or one good player on the enemy's team, like exceptionally good player, the game was over because they could just dominate the game. And if there was one particularly bad player, now you're in a 3v2. So even if two of the players were evenly matched to the other three players, that one guy now is dying every fight. You're now in a 3v2 every single fight. It just didn't work. It's too small of a player base. You need 5 or 6 players so that, one, the map feels fuller, but I'll get to the map in a second. But two, that like, hey, a firefight, when you lose someone, like in Overwatch or other games where it's 6v6, like Siege, you're not like, I think Siege is 5v5, but whatever, you get my point. You're not like instantly like, oh fuck, we've lost the battle. It worked in Apex at 3v3, but again, I would say for different reasons. It was a battle royale, so you could kind of run off and still win the game. You can't run off and win the game in this. When your teammates dies, you're just getting ganked and you're dead, you know, because you need to defend something, so you can't just run off. It doesn't work. So it doesn't work in this format. Same with Arc Raiders. You can run away if one of your teammates dies, and you as a 2-man can go off and still complete the game. You just can't do that on this game. It does not fundamentally work. So that's the first problem. So I would go up to 5 or 6 players, or 5v6, or sorry, 6v6 or 5v5. Following on from fixing the player count and going from a 3v3 to a 5v5, which is what I would pick, I would then delete all the maps they have made. They're all far too big, far too awkward to get around, far too many elevation levels and everything. They're just really poorly designed and they're just all over the place. And I know they're designed with the idea of riding around on the horses or the panther or the bear or whatever, but I would delete that mechanic as well. I might have the ability to ride the horse for maybe 20 seconds when you leave spawn or 10 seconds when you leave spawn to get yourself back to the battle, but that should be it. And then the horse should be on for the rest of the fight. Maybe you can get it back later if the enemy teams delete it or something. Maybe there can be some stipulations there, but ultimately the horse system didn't work, and it'll be explained throughout this video why it didn't work in many scenarios. But diving in with the map, I would go delete all the maps, go down much smaller to the tutorial map. The tutorial map is the perfect size, and the reason it was the perfect size was, one, I felt like at any point on that map I could get over to anywhere I needed to get to quickly, and that's important. Because you need to be able to support your teammates in a 5v5. There's no point in the 5v5 if my mate's like, hey, I'm getting shot at, and he's 50 fucking kilometers away on the map, and I have to get my horse out and ride across the map to try and fucking save him like he's a damsel in distress. That's just a shit mechanic. I should just be able to get to my team relatively quickly like you would on Dota. You're not able to get to, you know, you're not able to get to someone instantly in Dota, but you can go and move towards them and try and come over and help them. And that's what you need to be able to implement into this game if you want to have these MOBA style FPS. That's what you need to have. Number two, the reason the map should be smaller is there should be one mine on the map. The mine system is good. Even though people have complained about it a lot online, the idea is good. I go there, I mine, and I buy the gun I want. Not RNG, I buy the gun I want. That's what it should be. So what happens with the mine system if you have one mine is all of a sudden it goes from, oh, I'm just mining and I don't care because the map's so big, they're never going to find me out here anyway, to now all of a sudden it's like, as a team, you type in chat, you know, before the game starts, you hop on the voice comms, you go, hey, should we go secure the mine or should we go and loot randomly? And now you have a decision to make. And I think the crystals should spawn back continually while the fight's going on. So maybe make the opening stage of the game last 3, 4, 5 minutes, the opening stages, and it's more about fighting over the mine and fighting over the loot across the map rather than just walking around gearing up for like 3 minutes, which is just really boring. It doesn't feel like there's any jeopardy and ultimately just really does not work. So that would be my strategy there to fix a lot of those systems. I want to speak about the RNG with the weapons quickly before I continue. The whole going to a crate, opening it up and getting a gold weapon or a purple weapon, and I have tested them, are significantly stronger, like significantly stronger, to the point where it would give a bad player an absolutely colossal advantage over another bad player, and a good player an even more colossal advantage. Quickly on the supply drop, delete that as well. It doesn't need to be in the game. No reason for it to be there. It doesn't add anything, just adds an OP gun into the game that breaks the game even more. So just delete that. I don't know why they took that. They just, you know, they're Apex Legends devs. They were like, we have supply drops in Apex Legends. It's like, yep, it doesn't work here. Just delete that bullshit. Anyway, would I remove all the guns, all the special versions of guns? I think I would. I think that goes against the mine system I talked about, but maybe the mining system could be for armor or something, or maybe you could have the variants, but they were only slightly better, like it wasn't a clear example, or maybe the mining system unlocked your abilities. Because for me, I didn't like the abilities were in the game. It was oftentimes you would win a gunfight and someone would just pull out some horseshit ability. I felt no attachment to any of the characters. Their abilities weren't particularly interesting. Some of them are just completely broken, like your one who could just give all her teammates extra armor. That is just such a clear advantage. Not having her on your team, or the guy who could repair the walls, the ice guy, he was extremely strong as well. Like, they were not well balanced. I would take the abilities out, or again, allow them to be buyable. That would be like in Dota, you can buy stuff that makes your character better. Like, that is the kind of thing that works in these games, and it gives you a reason to fight over the mine again. And then the mining system now becomes like, shit, cover me, I'm gonna mine, you know, so I can get unlock this ability that my character has, and that's a strong ability that helps us win. And now the mines become relevant. Same with the sword. Like, the sword would drop into the game. It was far too easy to pick up, so oftentimes, like, a guy would throw a grenade at me, I would have to duck out of the way, he'd have picked up the sword, he was gone on his horse, and that was it. You know, that was the fight for the sword. It was terrible. In all the trailers they showed, and the one trailer they showed, the fight for the sword like this epic battle. In reality, it was just someone running in, clicking one button and gone, and then hopping on their horse and they were fucking gone. And the problem with the horse then, which I brought up earlier, was they would literally just ride to your base and you couldn't stop them. Even if you shot them off the horse, they could still make it to your base pretty quickly. And once they inserted the sword, there was nothing you could do. I'll probably have a clip here that happened when I was playing. I shot your one while she was inserting the sword. It just didn't stop the animation. It didn't do anything. You can't stop the siege barrage that's coming in. It's an awful mechanic in the game. If I shoot someone when they're putting in the sword, it should instantaneously stop the animation, and, you know, they're not able to input the sword. Like, there has to be a consequence to just standing there putting the sword in, but there just isn't any consequence to it whatsoever. So a really, really poorly designed mechanic. And that whole stage, the whole sword stage itself, is an awfully designed mechanic. Unless your team, especially the 3v3 system, unless your team is exceptionally good at working together, you're just not going to get the sword back. And you're just not, I mean, I had one time I got the sword back. Any other time we had no luck getting the sword back before they inserted it. So that was really, really terrible. Diving in here were kind of our final ways that this game needs to be saved. The defending and attacking was awful. This game is trying to replicate, you know, League of Legends, Dota, with its sort of MOBA system that it had going on with the attacking and defending. That's very much what it felt like. But unfortunately, there was far too much destructible environment. I mean, when I was attacking, it felt chaotic as fuck. When I was defending, it felt chaotic as fuck. I often spawned in the open and was instantly just being shot. Or I would spawn and then have to break my own wall to get into my own base because there was no door nearby that I could find. Like, I'm literally half the time you were running around like a headless chicken. At one point, they came around the back and they inserted the sword in the back of our base. So now we were defending... We were spawning on the side facing their base and fighting them at the back of our base. It was just so stupid. The only place there should be like 2 places you can insert the sword. It should be at the front. and you should be able to, defend that area. Being attacked from all angles, it just didn't work. Like Dota, there should be clear paths that they have to travel through, because that's what sets up the intense fighting. That's what sets up the strategic thoughts. That's what sets up the teamwork. Hey, you cover that angle, I'll cover this angle. You could never cover any angle in that game because there was 97 entrances to every room, to every building. The roof could be shot out, the walls could be shot out, the doors could be shot out, the windows could be shot out. It was fucking chaos, and I didn't enjoy attacking or defending at any point in this game. It just always felt terrible. The best part of this game was fighting over the sword. The rest of the game, attacking and defending, just felt absolutely ass. Especially, again, with the revive system, which I didn't mention earlier. Like, I would often knock somebody coming into the base. I would knock him. By the time I'd reloaded, he'd be revived. And he's up on full health, because you just revive on full health. Or I think you revive on full health, from what I remember. And then your shields are straight back up. So you're revived, the shields are back up. So what did I even knock him for? It's just a waste. Like, there needs to be hard to revive people. You need to have to heal up after you get revived. You need to have to put your shields back on like you do in Apex. This team is made by the Apex devs, and I can tell because the movement was like they were trying to replicate Apex's movement, but it was very clunky. The shooting feels very clunky. Again, it's like they're trying to replicate Apex, but just doing it so poorly. And you'll be seeing some of my gameplay throughout this video, and my gameplay is not excellent. I'm not great on the PC at these style of games like Valorant and well, HighGuard. I'm much better on the console. That is where I kind of grew up playing FPSs. On Apex specifically, I was ranked as a top 5 Gibraltar for the first year of the game. So like, I genuinely was very, very good at Apex. But trying to play this game on the PC, me being bad at it, it's just me being bad. But it didn't feel smooth. It didn't feel comfortable. And I really did not enjoy the movement or really anything related to what they were trying to copy from Apex. It just did not work. The reason I don't want to harp on about like movement and shooting too much is there are things they can fix. A little bit of tweaking there, those things definitely can be fixed. But the whole defending and attacking just needs a complete rewrite. I would completely redesign the defending and attacking, the system, like the whole buildings and stuff. And I don't know how exactly you would redesign that. Maybe you make it more open. Maybe you make it so that there's only some destructible areas, like in Siege, where it's not like you can just blow out the entire building. There's just got to be a better solution than what's currently in the game at the moment, because it just doesn't fundamentally work at all, and it was just really, really frustrating, and I just felt frustrated while defending or attacking at any point. Finally, we'll finish off with our last little bit. The menus and the servers barely worked. Half the time I'd click a button that it would tell me to click in the menu, and it wasn't working. I was joining games. I think we went on a streak of 10 or 15 games where me and my friend just got kicked out of every game. During games, I was getting kicked out because of my internet. It was not my internet. My internet's very good. But then I wasn't allowed to join back. So then it was telling me, hey, you're going to get banned if you leave 3 more games. It's like, I'm not leaving games. You're kicking me out of games because your servers suck ass. Again, these are things that are easily fixable, so I don't want to dive on them all the time. But yeah, that was a long list of things I had to go at that need to be fixed. And I'm sure there's even more stuff that could be fixed if I played another 10 hours. But they're the things that could be fixed. But also, if someone wants to make a game that was similar to this style, that's what I would do. I would change those elements, especially the defending and attacking. That was the worst element in the whole game for me, as it just felt far too chaotic and just awful. Like, and I know that's such a bad description of something, but it just felt awful. I did not enjoy it at all. Defending and attacking on Overwatch feels good. That's what you need to get the vibe of. It needs to feel good. But what's not happening on Overwatch is enemies are not spawning behind me. I feel like I can defend an area on Overwatch. You just did not feel, even in Siege, like I said, when you can blow down the doors and stuff, I feel like I can defend an area though. I don't just feel like I'm getting shot from every single angle, up, down, from my arsehole. I felt like I had a genuine chance. Look, thanks very much for watching, guys. I am trying to say that this game is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be fixed, but I just hope that it is, because I really want a new FPS. I want something fresh, and I feel like this game could deliver that if it made these changes, or at least some of these changes. It could deliver this, even if it stuck with, like, only went to 4v4 but fixed the attack and defending. I really think there's a fun element to this game. Even last night when I finished playing, even though I hated my experience, I was still like, oh, but I'm kind of itching to play another game of that. And maybe that's just the FPS addict in me, but yeah, there was something here in this game. I really do believe that. I appreciate everyone for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share. Sharing makes a massive difference, and you don't even need to actually share. If you just click the share button, click copy link, and never share it, it counts as a share for YouTube. So that makes a really big difference. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Best of luck with your day, and see you later.